Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back if you are returning. If you are in the US, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. This is Sunday. Normally I would be doing a weekly color review, but I already did that, a mini review of the feathers that I colored over this week. And I did the review as a tail end of episode 324, where I finished the last two of the 12 feathers that I colored during the Thanksgiving week. So today is the big day of going through the conversion. I have done a couple of updates as I have been progressing through this project. So first I want to give credit and thank Emily Illustrator, who provides a whole bunch of downloadable charts for swatching, and at the top of each of her charts, at least the ones that I've looked at, has a button that says open in Google Docs, and when you open that chart with Google Docs you get the raw data. So all of this raw data here in her color family order is where I got the names and the order that they are in. So go ahead and go to Emily Illustrator. You just have to type Emily Illustrator. You go to her website. She has this long downloads. She has done a ton of these. So that's one piece. And then the second part is I want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a conversion expert. I have decided I don't even like doing conversions. It stresses me out. I'm getting really comfortable in my coloring journey with picking colors to use when I color. But trying to match and decide if it is a good enough match is very difficult for me. So this, I will not be doing these very often. So I did this because I was asked if I knew of a resource for this very thing, which is converting so that a person can do Prismacolor tutorials if they only own the Starjoy Golds. So I could find nothing out there for this particular set of pencils. There are extensive conversion charts out there that are very good, and I am a utilizer of them very extensively. One is Karen Hull. She does the professional pencils, and then My Colorful Country Life, Karen. They're both Karens as it stands. She does a set. She has a set of 12 so far, and I think I own now all but one, or I even own small subsets of almost all of them. There might be one or two that I don't own. So this has been a labor of love, and I changed my tactic. I am not good at just picking one color, and I'm not happy with a lot of the colors. So as it ends up, if I go to the very end, and we'll work our way backwards, I printed out in the end. So in the end, without even seeing how the colors match up, so to speak, I was able to come up with 99 matches. There were 51 that I did not feel had good matches, and I had to decide if I was just going to go for a no match or if I was going to make some effort into maybe doing a two-color blend. And so that beginning effort of doing a two-color blend, I got more and more into it, and so I have now matched all but 4 pencils in the 150 set. It just felt like giving up with 51, not having matches, wasn't going to work for me. So this is why, if you wonder why it took so long, it's because my very must be perfect brain said that I could not have that many pencils and that many colors that did not match. So in the end, for each color, this is part of the PDF. It's the back page of a PDF that I will share with you. It shows which color family, they're all in columns. There's 3 sheets, 2 columns for each sheet, and how many 2-color matches there were and how many that had no match. And yes, the orange is an orange dot that you will see, and the pink is an actual pink dot that you will see. And at some point, I almost let it go with 17 non-matches because that's when I did an update and told you guys that I was working on like the last 5. when I worked on the last 5, I just decided I was going to try really hard to get rid of all of them. And the only ones that I ended up not deciding not to struggle with the match was because it was too much of a struggle. And that was a set of grays that Prismacolor has that Starjoy Gold does not have. So there's 3 there. And then 1 very light tan, grayish tan. So all in the grays and the gray tans that I just wasn't going to struggle. It was just too much of a struggle. So I'm going to say right off the bat, buy those 4 pencils, and I will identify them shortly. For pricing, if you are working on tutorials, because that was the strategy, this request was specifically based on doing color alongs and tutorials, and you own the Starjoy Golds, but most of the tutorials out there, or many of them, are done with Prismacolor. And so this is a tool that you can utilize, and you could decide, I've done all of the work now, that's with my one eye, and you can spend the $61.60 at Dick Blick buying bulk. The price at the time that I checked was $1.12 per pencil. That would give you free shipping. I think their free shipping is around $59, somewhere like that. Sometimes they have specials and it goes even lower. Or you can just take and replace these colors as you see them, pick and choose. You'll see that there's groupings of colors that are very close, so you might not feel like you need to replace all of them at once. So that is in summary what this is all about. I do have the blank conversion available for you to download and do your own work. Do your own swatching. It is blank so that you do not have to use Starjoy. You can put whatever color of pencils, and you can use mine as a guide and make your own 2-color blends trying to match mine. Or you can then slowly pick and choose which pencils you would like to buy of the Prismacolors to flesh out a full and complete set without having to buy all of the Prismas, all 150 of them. So on the first sheet, I am going to make sure that you can see. Here's the original. And here is a copy of the PDF. You can see the orange dots. They're kind of peachy colored. You can see the color matches for the yellows. We'll go over first. I do have the original. It is now turned into just a strip, and you can line up the strip and you will see the orange dots I did leave where the 2-color combos were done. The only secret to the 2-color combos, and I will demonstrate a 2-color combo for you, is that if there is a little L, even in some cases I'll have an L, I don't see any on this page, that just means go light. It doesn't mean go harsh and fill in the tooth. So just do a light layer of that color. And I do have notations. It's the only special notation you will see on there beside the plus symbol. And what it means, if you have a number, then a plus, and another number is the first number shown is what I call the base, and the second number is the one that you overlay over the top. And you do want to actually, the Starjoy Golds, if you own them, you'll know they do blend. They're not quite as super fantastic mushy blenders, but they do blend together and make a third new color. And that is what I have done for all of these matches with the orange dots. So the yellow oranges were one of the easiest, I think it was the easiest set of colors to match up. We will move right on here to the reds, and we're going to shift over this way. The reds were a big pain in the butt, but there's a lot of similar colors in the reds, I would say. So I look, and here is the original, which is a lot more vibrant, but even through this whole area of 6, there's just a theme. The first 3 are orangish. They all use 4-OR, even though there are 3 different distinct colors on the Prismacolor side. I actually think you would be totally fine using 4-OR for all 3 of those colors. And eventually, if there's any reason why you would want one color that you would want to buy it, you could, but I think you would do totally fine with color alongs and tutorials. And then the next three are very similar. Scarlet Lake and Crimson Red, I think you could just use 59J. All that I did to make Crimson Red was add a light layer over the top. Actually, not even light. I just said you burnished it with 99S. So Crimson Lake is actually a darker shade than Scarlet Lake, and that is, again, they all use a base of 59J. So you are going to see a lot of groupings of colors that use a color and then a different darker color over the top to darken it up. Chestnut, I gave it an okay match because the base color is the same. It is got the 99S over the top, and you could go deeper than what I did on that one. And then this very black raspberry, I also gave it an okay because it's like a darker version of the chestnut. So those two kind of are like a medium and a dark. So going through, we've got pomegranate, magenta, and processed red. Again, those are two of the three use 53 VR. I think between pomegranate and magenta, you could get away with doing them with the same color. And onward down the list. So reds were tough, but as I say, I think that there's groupings of colors on the Prisma side that you can match up with one color and maybe a little bit of a darker color over the top if you really want to do an exact match. So moving on to the blues. Blues were equally as hard as the red, but there's not quite as many. Maybe they are about the same. Let's just see. We'll do a little test. So on my chart, let's go back to just the reds. My reds, I have 15 two-color matches. On the blues, almost the same, 13 matches. So we've got some purples. We have... Then going into the blues, I see that on the, technically on the Starjoy side, they just don't go as deep. The indigo blue, here you can see the two indigo blues. You're just not going to get that deep match. Go ahead and use black or a dark gray if you want, if that is important to you. I felt it was okay. And then as we get further down into the tones, they're doing pretty good. Here's where I use my first gray. To make slate gray, I used 115 GS. That is a Starjoy Gold Gray. These all look pretty good. I notice on the light colors, you're going to see on my copy, depending on how your printer prints out, that it is quite faint. But notice that the two colors, whether it's cloud blue or sky blue light, I just use 39B. So you can just use 39B. And then I do specifically call out for powder blue. It is the same as blue slate, 42 VB, just light. And at this point, I just spelled the word out because there was room to do so. Let's move this more to the middle. Down here at the bottom, the original is very vibrant. This looks like a sky blue to me. Just note that when you print this out and you're doing your own matches, follow my guide. You're probably going to see that 38B is pretty vibrant compared to my printed copy or your printed copy. So you can refer to the screen for the matches to your live actual colors. Just follow my guide here is my recommendation. Up here's where I do a reference to a light. That means that the base color of this one, 109cc, and then here 59J, is a light, even coating. I would say that if it's a toothy paper, like I'm using a toothy paper here, my originals, so I left a little bit of tooth. But what I mean by light is that you coat so that you are not mushing the pigment into the paper because you want to leave it raised up just very soft so that you can intermix it with your second color. And that actually is a guide for all of these colors. All right, so those are the blues, and on the blues, as I said, there were 13 two-color matches and no matches. Moving on to the green side. And I know that there are people who are not going to like that much work, but I want to give you the ability to do the best color match possible, if that is what you choose to do. I just don't think it did not sit well with me seeing all of these colors with the pink dots, because I knew that they weren't a good match. So then we have 2 color matches for the greens. The greens were pretty difficult. I did end up spending the time to get the 2 color matches. The one color I've noticed here, this one here with moss green, technically that needs to be a pink dot in my opinion. So be ready to not like my decision and say, oh no, I am going to buy 1097 moss green Prismacolor because that color match that you did is not good enough. So absolutely, I expect there will be some opinions, and you are welcome to make that judgment call. That's one of the reasons why I decided this is not my thing to do. It was very stressful for me. Okay, so the totals for greens are 10 2 color matches. The last page was the first page that I was able to complete, and it hasn't changed, and that is I like that there's no brown. Here it is, Heidi. This was the fastest page to do. Like the reds, there are groupings of 3. Dark umber, espresso, sepia. Even right now with my light, I see no difference between the 3. All 3 of these are 2 color matches, and they're all the same. So you could pick, I'm going to buy 1099 espresso because I don't want to do 2 color matches, and espresso would work, in my opinion, for dark umber and sepia. Not a problem. It might even work for the French gray 90%. It's so close. Yeah, all 4 of those are very close. Here's my first no match. Putty beige. I just don't feel that trying to find 2 very light colors, it's just not worth it. Just buy the putty beige. It's a very unique color and well worth owning. And don't forget that these very light colors here are very, very faint. And so when you print them over here, you're going to get a lot of very light printing. So go with my numbers, put them down. I don't have any that I say to go light at all, just full color. Fill in the tooth. On the second side, oh, and so the total stats on that is 6 of the brown grays are 2 color matches. Again, I told you 3 of them I think could just be, you could just buy 1 of the 3 Prismas. And then, because you don't need all 3, and then there's only 1 no match, and that was putty beige. On the other side, you'll see henna. Henna I actually forgot. Somehow I just missed it. So I have added henna in. Oops, over here. I did not do the metallics and I did not do the neons because you don't have those in the Starjoy Golds. Cool grays. There are no cool grays for Starjoy, so I did my best. You can see that they came out wonky. I just say you should buy these 3 cool grays or 4 cool grays and call it good. Okay, so those are the actuals. You have a blank conversion chart that you can do with what you will. You can follow along and make your own matches. I am going to move along to some specific demo. Here's a scratch sheet that I want to talk about. And then I also want to offer up that, yes, I actually hand typed all of the colors in for my swatch chart, and I just realized as I was prepping for this video that I need to load that up on the coffee shop so that if you want to use, it is formatted specifically to just be printed on either sticker paper or on regular paper, and I use double back tape to adhere these to my printed out swatch charts that I use. So if we move on to, I just want to show you, and then I'm going to do a quick demo of what I consider, we'll zoom in close and look at some of these combinations. on my little worksheet here. Oh, I'm using Hub's phone today. It's thinking about focusing for me. Okay, so I have color combos here where these are my like chicken scratchings where I used this was True Blue, and then Cerulean Blue is the slightly darker one, and you'll see that I used 38B as my base, my top actually, and I changed the base. I used light coatings of each of these colors. One is darker than the other, and then I finished it off with a top coat of 38B, which is a fairly vibrant but too light of a tone of blue. Let's find it. 38B is called Tropical Blue. And if you want to see the blue master sheet, I am going to find it for you. Here it is. I say that 38B, which is Tropical Blue, is too bright to be True Blue, and it is definitely too bright to be Cerulean Blue, but I use it as the top coat for creating both of those colors. And in the case of 109cc, I believe, is the indigo. So my base for Cerulean Blue is this indigo, and then I put the nice coat of 38B over the top to create the Cerulean Blue. I don't have those two out. I also have a Blue Lake. Here's where I'm playing with Blue Lake. was toying with Blue Violet Lake, and I end up using the 42VB, and I don't really like it. It's not as purple as needed for Blue Violet Lake, so I ended up using it on Blue Lake. So this is kind of some of my process around all of the edges here. And this is not the first sheet. This was just the final sheet. I had other sheets like this. So then the final thing that I want to show you is, here's where I take, and I am trying to match, let's get the pink sheet, a red sheet out. My goal was to match pink. Right here, 929 pink. So I actually put 87S down. I have 87S right here. And there is a pink. But when I put that down first, and then I put 69MP over the top, 69MP is blush pink. It created too much peach. So all I did here is reversed and started with 69MP, which is the peach. That became my base. And then I used 87S over the top. So I'm going to attempt, I know that this is awfully close, but I am going to go ahead and show you. I am using light layers. I'm using a rough, the Nina Bristol Vellum. So when I'm adding my layers, so you're going to be coloring not little squares, you're going to be coloring a whole area. So you're going to color in your area, and it's going to take two colors to make the blend that you want. I don't want to push into the tooth at this point. All I'm doing is doing a glossy glaze back and forth, different directions. I need to have enough pigment so that when I pick up the next color, there's a bunch of pigment sitting here on top of the paper, not mushed into the tooth. I am still just doing light layers. This is where in the end you will probably slowly decide that you want to go ahead and buy certain Prismacolors because the two color matches is just too much work. Some of them won't be as much work. So now over the top is 87S, and I want to add the pink tone. So I am simply starting to layer. You can either rotate your paper. I like to rotate my paper. You can rotate your hand, however you want to do the layering, and in the end you will want to burnish it so that it looks akin to a Prismacolor, because Prismacolors are a very soft pencil and they will fill in the tooth and mush all together, and the Starjoy Golds do a very nice job in the end. As you slowly get that pink over the top of the base of the peach, you will fill in your tooth. I am adding more pressure now toward the end here. I needed to just get some pigment down because my goal was to mix it all together. I can use small ovals, I can use whatever shape I want. The more you practice this, the better you will get. And you'll see that the peachy tone has now been layered over with the pink tone. And in the end, this color, you can see looking over to this color, it is not that peach color, it is this pink color. But when you look at it, this is a closer match to what's called pink, 929 pink, than this, which is too peachy to me. So that is how I do my blends, and you will be doing them in different areas for whatever your coloring tutorial is, and so it will take you more time. So I feel that this is just a starting point to kind of get you the ability to do these tutorials and color alongs, and in the end of the day, you will end up putting on your wish list an order to Blick, maybe a couple of orders to buy whatever Prismas you want to supplement your Starjoy Golds to be able to have a fun time doing these tutorials. So that is everything I have for this conversion chart. It is already loaded up for you. The blank is already loaded up for you. What I owe you now is the numbering for my particular swatch chart pages that I have, and I will get that loaded up as soon as this is done. Next will be my haul video. I'm going to try to do that today so that we will start our daily color on Monday as per schedule. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. This might spawn a lot of questions, comments, concerns. I would love to hear from you. Again, this is not my my niche. I am just trying to help out the community, and I hope in some way I get you guys going. I would like people to not feel that because they don't have a set of pencils, they can't participate in any of the coloring that all of the community YouTubers do. So hopefully this will facilitate getting even more people coloring with us all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.